Hello my friends, today we're going to assemble an IKEA base cabinet for their section series for their kitchens. So we're going to just jump into it right away and let's show you how to do it. By the way, I'm Kody with Up to Code. I have a ton of videos on the IKEA, everything IKEA, so I have a full 5-part kitchen install series and a whole bunch of tip video series as well. So watch those, they're very good. And I haven't done anything just kind of basic like this, but these are important because you need to know how to assemble these and just do it with relative ease. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. Check the other ones out. And yeah, so let's jump into it. Now, this is a 36-inch base cabinet for a sink. There's basically all their base cabinets are the same. And a lot of even their upper cabinets are the same. So it's not specific. You don't have to worry about, oh, do I have the right cabinet? They're universal and interchangeable. So once you know how to do this, you can pretty much do all of them. And all the fundamentals will be the same. So anyway, you just want to unpackage it. Don't use your knife and gouge it and scratch it all to heck. Unpackage it. Our materials are set up. We just open the book and we just jump into it. Probably, I'll hit the highlights and the top points. So you just want to look at the instructions carefully and notice, like, they want us to book match this. So what book matching means is the two fronts are right here so that when we fold these up, the back is right here and the fronts are here. So it's book matched. It matches like that. So we unfold it. So that's what we want to do. And then after that, you just look at the drawings. They'll give you close-up images and it'll show you that this back panel groove should be facing up. Same thing over here. Everything's good. We have our package of fasteners. I need a tape measure, screwdriver, most likely a Phillips. Sometimes you need a flathead. And you need yourself a stiletto hammer every time. Actually, you don't, but any hammer will do. Sometimes I use my wife's pink little handyman hammer. So yeah, anyhow, let's jump into this. So let's just start with step one and move along. So these little, I don't even know what you call these, but these little gadgets are what the cam lock locks into and it tightens the box together. So that's these are the cam locks and they hook in, and when you tighten it, it just pulls everything tight. So yeah, these I like to put in manually. Like, I don't like to use an impactor or drill. I just like to do them by hand so I get them nice and square and I can seat them properly. So yeah, just follow the instructions. So they want us to start at the bottom corner and it's the little hole here. So there's 3 along the bottom, so we'll do those. And you sometimes have to push pretty hard and just make sure they go in square and straight. And then this flat plate right here will just seat down really nice. So yeah, just torque on that. So now I just double check to make sure that I did everything right. Everything's in the right location, so I'll do that. So I have 3 of these on the bottoms. It's book matched. So next is we find the bottom shelf. So we have to just slide these up. So if you notice, I used the cardboard from the box. You want to limit the amount of sliding that you're going to do, but at least this is nice clean cardboard and not, if I was on plywood, I would physically lift it and move it. You don't want to be sliding it, especially when you tilt these up and get it on the face. You'll scratch the faces all to heck. So just be mindful of that. So again, you just want to look at the photo, and this photo has a close-up that shows that this groove is for the back panel and it's going to face that way. So we're going to roll this up, and the image also shows all these holes for their feet and the cam locks and all that stuff. So once you have it, the orientation right, you could just go really quick. So it shows 3 dowels each side. So these go beside the cam lock if you're unsure. So the cam lock's there, but the cam locks for these metal guys. So those go in there. the dowels go beside those. The pictures in the book will show you as well. Once you get a few under your belt, you'll be way more efficient, and you'll just have your own little rhythm that you get into, and then you'll fly. So at this stage, I like to put the cam locks in. They have a little arrow that points to the edge of this shelf, and basically that's just the open end, so it'll receive that little bolt that we put in earlier. So I like to just throw those in. And everything will just line up. Yeah, so we just tighten these righty-tighty. And you should see that gap snug up. So now time for the back panel. So if you've done everything correctly, this dado that will receive the back panel will all line up on all three sides. So we're gonna get ready to put this panel in. One mistake I've made lots of times is not facing the proper color the right way. We've done it lots where the brown is facing inside and then you gotta take all the nails out and flip it around. So don't do that. Now one thing I wanna show you is I almost put this panel in and I thought I made a mistake. But when they edge tape these, they edge tape it through and past this dado. So I can't slide my back panel in. So I'm just gonna take the old trusty knife here. So color faces down. Slide it in. Yeah, so just make sure it goes in all three sides. So the next step before we nail this back panel is just to do these little clips in this back rail to hold that panel straight. So just look at the directions, make sure everything's orientated properly. These can slide back and forth. So we're gonna just gauge middle. So these go in and just clip. In there, clip, and then let's install it. Yeah, just like that, actually. I'm gonna grab those two screws. I'm gonna grab two of these. And then there's pre-drilled holes at the top of these side panels. We wanna get this one in the middle. So now that the rail's in place, the screw holes all just line up perfectly. There's really not a whole lot you have to think about there. This part where we start fastening the panel, I like to just make sure that it's pushed down to the bottom all the way. So I'll just push the bottom in, and then we'll tack the bottom, and then we'll square it up. So we're just gonna start. So we push the panel down, it's all the way at the bottom, and we'll just tack the two corners. So I can still square this thing. When you actually set it truly square is when you pin one of the sides. So now what I like to do is just do a diagonal measurement. So I just hook the center of my tape on this corner. So center of the tape on the corner, and then I just come here and right to the very outside corner, I'm 46 7/8. So then I just match. I read to the bottom side of my tape. So I'm 46 13/16. So I just need to like push this a little bit. I gotta think about that for a second. Which way do I go? I gotta make this longer. I gotta push this way. So all you want is those diagonal measurements to match perfectly. And once they match, you can pin one side and then you can finish all your nailing. Match the sides, send all those nails home. So keeping it square is very important. That's why I mentioned it. The next step is these little back spacer pieces. Make sure to keep 4 nails out so that you can tack these on. I jumped the gun a little bit, but I'm not actually going to install these right now. These are spaced for the rail system, and sometimes I end up having to take these off. If my walls are crooked or out of plumb or something, I end up taking these off to buy myself some wiggle room and space. The other reason I'm not putting these on this cabinet is this is for an island, and I'm going to attach to this back panel, which is, I have videos on how to attach and create your own islands. So anyway, keep these, throw everything in the same box, but yeah, we're going to skip this step for now. Now you can see we have almost a complete cabinet box. We're missing this front rail. That's this piece here, but because we have a sink, there's a little bit of an adapter kit. I'll show you in a sec. So this piece will be omitted in this case. Next step are these brackets that clip and hang off the rail system. I'm not using these today because it's A, for an island, and B, I don't use these on the lower cabinets because I custom make my own plywood bases. So you have to check, I have 3 videos on the plywood bases. And so you don't need these, you don't need the bottom rails if you use a plywood base. So anyway, I like to customize the IKEA system because then it makes it so much more solid, so much easier to install. Anyway, just look at the photos and install these the way that they show you. So just match the screw holes, but really the photo shows that it's this one, and this one. And they'll just match up. Just like that. Put those in by hand, and you want to use these screws. So, the fat guys. Yeah. And then after these are installed, so after these are all installed, then they have these cover up clips. So at the very end, when everything's done and set, these cover the back holes and they clip into these brackets. So anyway, that's that. And pretty much besides this front rail I'll show you, if you're using the custom plywood bases, you can pretty much omit most of the rest of the book. So I've unassembled this, I call it the door kit. They come in 24 inch, 30 inch, or 36 inch. So today we have a 36. This is the bar. Now, the reason they have this is for a couple of reasons. Mostly for doors. So if you have a sink cabinet, there's different configurations, but typically if you have doors shutting, if you had this little bar there, there's nothing to stop the doors at the top. There's no backer. So now they have this backer that will attach. You'll want to keep these for later so that you can, if you have doors, the doors can shut onto these, and you can actually adjust this rail back and forth so your doors sit nice and like straight this way. So let's just fasten this down because that's all we need to do right now. All the holes are pre-drilled, so you literally just slam the screws in. So now, a couple more things to point out. Different configurations. So some of these sink cabinets will have a 5-inch drawer front that's a false front that just stays in place, or a 10-inch. But essentially these just fit on here. You put your front on and you fasten it from behind, and then you have shorty doors down here. And so that's what these brackets are for. We don't need those today because our cabinet has the full height doors, but we're going to keep all the parts regardless, just in case you want to change the orientation later, because you can. So yeah, that's what's nice about IKEA is you can, let's say you have 2 big tall doors and you don't like them, you can put shorter ones in, do the 5-inch front as long as you keep all your parts. That's it. That's how you build an IKEA lower base cabinet for the section series. Make sure to like and subscribe and check out my other IKEA videos because I have tons and I'll teach you everything about IKEA. And yeah, leave me a comment. Thanks everyone. Hello my friends, today we're going to install, oh no, we're not going to install it, we're going to build it. In a section, it's a section cabinet. Okay, you need to learn how to bebop. Is it bebop or bebox? Bebop? Beatbox? This guy's probably just hoping and praying. Probably every day you give him a little hope. My dad, he can hit a 4-inch nail one time and he just sends it home. Doesn't matter. That's how good he is.